Today we're going to make an optical illusion. We're going to be using a heart as our main shape and a checkerboard in the background. So it's going to look like the heart is kind of popping up out of the page. So first, let's draw a heart, and I'm going to draw it pretty big on my paper. I'm just going to visualize where the center is, and I'm going to very lightly draw a heart shape. Just in case I want to erase it, my drawing is pretty light. Okay, so once I have my heart drawn, hopefully you can see that, okay, we are going to draw a checkerboard in the background. Actually, I'm going to draw this darker just so you guys can see it a little bit better on the camera. Now, to draw our checkerboard in the background, I'm using a ruler because we want our lines to be nice and straight. And I'm going to line my ruler up with the edge of my paper so I know that my lines are going to be perfectly straight. So right underneath my ruler, I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to stop once I hit the heart. And I'm going to continue it all the way over here. So I have my pencil up against my ruler to draw my straight line. Okay, and then I'm going to line my ruler with that line on the top here. And I'm going to hold my ruler down. See how my fingers are spread really apart so my ruler doesn't move. Okay, I'm not holding it just on one side. I'm spreading my fingers out and holding my ruler as wide as I can. And then I'm going to draw another line in the background, not on my heart. Okay, and then again move my ruler down. Make sure the top of the ruler is aligned with that line. Hold it down so it doesn't move. Draw another line in the background, and just keep going until we get all the way to the bottom. So we're going to fill our background with horizontal lines, and then when we're done, we're going to do vertical lines going the other direction. Okay, so same thing, I'm going to line my ruler up with the side of my paper to make sure it's nice and straight. Hold it down so it doesn't move, and draw vertical lines in the background. Remember, do not draw the lines on your heart. I think one of the hardest parts, for my students at least, is getting the ruler to stay still so that it doesn't move around while you're trying to draw. So get your ruler where you want it, hold it down really hard, and make sure your pencil is pushed up against your ruler so you're drawing a really straight line. Okay, so our squares are pretty big. That is totally fine. If you want smaller squares in their background, all you have to do is add some more lines going in both directions in between your squares. So instead of one square here, you would have 4 squares. So you can make them a lot smaller if you want, but for the purpose of time, we're going to keep our squares big in the background. So the next thing we're going to do is now we need to draw a grid on our heart, but we're not using straight lines. We're going to be using curved lines. So on this side of the heart, our curved lines are going to be going this way with the outline of the heart. And on this side of the heart, our curved lines are going to go this way, the opposite way, because that's the way that the outline of this heart is. Okay, so I'm going to connect this line in the background right here to this line down here, but I'm using a curved line. Okay, it's going to look weird at first, but trust me, trust the process. Okay, from this line to this line, curved, very curved. And then the middle, I'm going to do straight. You can use your ruler if you want. This side of the heart is going to curve the other way. And this side is going to be really skinny. There you go. All right. Next, we are going to go horizontal. I'm going to turn my paper just because I think it's easier to draw curves like this than like this. So I'm going to turn my paper. On the bottom of my heart, my curves are going to go down like this, like this, and then when we get towards the middle of our heart, we're going to do straight lines. And then this side of the heart, the curves are gonna go this way. So it's the same as the outline. And I'm gonna stop when I get to here. If yours doesn't hit the middle of your heart like that, then you can just do one big curved line. And then here, really tiny little curve. Okay, so our heart is going to look like it's kind of popping out of the paper. To color this, I want you guys to choose 2 complementary colors. Complementary colors are opposite colors on the color wheel. Orange and blue are opposite colors. So I picked a light blue and a regular orange, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna color in every other square with the first color. And to make sure that you get every other square and you don't mess up your colors, you can just make like a little dot in each square that is supposed to be that color. So right below this blue will be orange. So every other one will be blue. Okay, and then we don't really know what's behind here in this heart, so it's easier just to kind of do the background around the heart first and then kind of continue coloring in the center as we go. So this will be orange, orange, blue, 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 and we're gonna get started with that. So go ahead and color in your background squares with your first color. I'm gonna push pause on the video and I'll come back when all my blue is colored in. All right, my blue is all colored in. You can see I didn't do anything on my heart. I colored against the outline of my heart. I did not color in my heart at all. Now I'm gonna start with my second color, and I just wanted to show you guys an easy way to color these in so they look really nice. I usually outline the area that I'm gonna color in first. That helps me kind of stay in the lines within that shape. And then I just go up and down and make my marks really close together, trying not to leave any white space in between. If you scribble, it's just going to make everything look really messy. These are regular markers, and with regular markers you can see the lines exactly where you color. So try not to scribble, try to color just in one direction, go really slow. When you color with markers and you color really fast, it's gonna look like your marker is running out of ink because you're going too fast. If you slow down, your marker colors are going to be way more vibrant and they're just gonna look way better. All right, now it's time to color in our heart, and it doesn't really matter what color you start with. So like this background square is orange. You could do this square in the heart orange, or you could do the opposite, which is blue. It doesn't really matter. It's your preference. I'm gonna do the same color just so you can see what it looks like. So if I do this shape orange, that's gonna be blue. This is gonna be orange, blue, orange, blue, orange, orange, blue, orange, blue, orange, blue, orange, blue, orange, blue, blue, orange, blue, orange, blue, orange, orange, blue, orange, blue, blue, orange. So I'm just marking all of my squares that are going to be orange. So just pick one to start with and then go ahead and start coloring them in. Once we get all of our squares, or they're not squares, but once we get all the shapes on our heart colored in, we are going to retrace over our pencil lines with a black Sharpie marker, and that's gonna make everything really pop out and look really nice. And then if we wanna take this a step farther, we can use a black colored pencil and a white colored pencil to add some highlights and shadows to really make this look like a three-dimensional heart popping out of the paper. So I am going to fast forward the video, and we'll come back when I'm done coloring in my heart. Alright, now that we're done coloring, we're going to take it a step further and we're going to add some shadows to this, and we're going to use a black colored pencil. On the outside of our hearts, we're going to start drawing along the outside with a pretty light pressure, and as I get away from the heart, I'm going to lift up my colored pencil. I'm barely pressing down. As I am closer to the heart, I'm pressing down a little bit harder. Okay, so I can do that all around the heart. I'm coloring with a medium pressure, and as I go away from my heart, I'm going to start lifting up on my colored pencil. So dark, medium, light. I'm just going to go all around my heart. I'm using pretty light pressure. I'm not pressing down very hard because I want it to kind of fade away into nothing. But right up against the heart is going to be pretty dark. Okay, so I'm just going to turn my paper and do that all the way around my heart. When you get up here to the curvy part, make sure you are following the contour edge, the outline of your heart, and you're using curved lines. Okay, we're not scribbling, we're not using straight lines here. We're following the contour outline of that heart. Notice I'm kind of using the side of my pencil tip, so all my lines look kind of blurry. They're not sharp lines at all. So we want this to kind of look like a smooth shading. We're not going to smudge it or anything like that. But we do want it to gradually look like it's dark faded to light. Okay, once we have our outline shaded, we're going to do kind of the same thing on the inside of the heart. So starting along that outline, I'm going to do dark, and as I get towards the center of the heart, I'm going to start picking up my pencil. So dark here along the outline, and then lift up that pressure. We're going to get light towards the middle of our heart. In the center of our heart, we're going to use a white colored pencil, and we're just going to add a little bit of a highlight. This colored pencil is not really showing up on my light blue, but it does show up on my orange just a little bit. So just in the middle of my heart, adding a little bit of white. You might be able to see it, you might not, but this is going to be a little bit of a highlight, because this is the part of the heart that's sticking up the most. That's what it's supposed to look like. So the light is shining on that high part, and the light is not getting down to the shaded parts. Again, I'm not scribbling. I'm trying to make all of my lines going in the same direction, just so if you do see my lines, it looks nice. So the highlights didn't show up that well on my colors. They might show up a little bit better on yours, but this is our finished product. So have fun, and I hope you learned something making your optical illusion heart.